Hi, welcome to the Self Worship School. Today we are going to talk about who is your self-love goddess. Like who is the divine feminine archetype that is guiding you right now in this season of your life, this season of your healing. Okay? So we're going to talk about this before we get started. I'm Essence. I am the priestess of the Self Worship School, feminine energy healer, sensual yoga teacher, and creator of the popular quiz, Who is Your Self Love Goddess? All right. So I created this quiz, Who is Your Self Love Goddess, to help women tune into their inner healer, their feminine soul. So, one of the maybe principles that I lead my life and my work with is that we have this inner healer. We can look at this as our higher self, our intuition. I also look at this as my feminine guide, that voice that is within that we often don't listen to, that we just kind of push to the side and we listen to the mental chatter. Well, on my healing journey, my inner healer guided me every step of the way through my healing. And I'm still healing and growing. But when I started this journey, I was in and out of toxic, unhealthy relationships. I drank heavily. I did not like myself. I did not respect my body. I did not respect myself. I just was a completely different version of myself. And I knew that there was something inside of me that was like telling me I'm not supposed to be there anymore. I'm not supposed to be in that space. I'm gonna pause because I think this is my Amazon driver jamming out there. Okay, so I'm gonna try to remember where I left off. That was FedEx, and it was like 3 minutes of him listening to the weekend. And I don't want to get a YouTube ding for like copyright. Okay, I think that I was saying that there was something inside of me saying that like it was time for me to leave that life, that version of me behind. But like I didn't know what else there was for me to do, or like how do I get out of being that version of me to a new version of me. And I just kept praying and asking for help. And then finally, that inner voice started talking to me, and I started listening to it. And one of the first things it had me do was like to go to Barnes and Nobles and get some self help books. And then I started just doing different things that I was guided towards. Started going to yoga. I started doing meditation. I started doing Reiki on myself and calling in the angels. And mind you, I don't come from a world where any of that is acceptable. Come from a very I won't say very, but a Christian family. So all of this was new, but I trusted that inner voice. And once I got connected to the angels, it was easier for me to listen and trust what was coming through, because I'm like, this is Archangel Raphael. Like, I knew it, I could feel it, and I listened to that guidance, and I stopped going in my head like, is that me telling me to do this? Is that my ego? You know. So what all of that taught me is that our inner healer or our higher self often speaks through archetypes, because a lot of us, we don't trust ourselves. We weren't really taught to trust ourselves. But when we start working with an archetype, it's like we can trust that that wisdom that's coming through to us is the voice of whatever archetype we're working with. So whether it's one of the archangels, or whether it's one of the divine feminine goddesses, or whether you are pulling from your animal spirit deck, and because the jaguar has taught me a lot. So whatever that your inner whoever your inner healer is speaking through, it just allows us to trust that wisdom a little more. So fast forward several years, probably maybe 6 years into my journey, it moved from the archangels into the divine feminine, and now I've been working with the divine feminine since 2018. So I created this quiz to help you find who your divine feminine archetype is, to help you right now on your journey of self-love and self-healing. That way you can start to build a relationship with that divine feminine archetype and listen to the guidance that's coming through and begin to trust it, so you can take the right steps that are meant for you on your journey. Each one of us is going to have a slightly different healing journey, and your inner healer, your feminine soul, or your divine feminine archetype is going to be guiding you on what is meant for you. And so I want you to take that quiz. When you take the quiz, you'll find out who your goddess is. I invite you to just kind of sit with it, and maybe even Google who she is, see some different images, see what comes to you. But I do have a workbook that's going to be emailed to you separately. So you'll take the quiz, you're going to get your quiz results at the end. You'll also get an email from the quiz platform that'll have your results in it, and then you're going to get a workbook from me that has a little bit about your goddess. So there's a couple goddesses in the workbook, but you just flip to the page with your goddess and go through those practices, and there's 3 messages that are meant just for you. And as you read them, just pull out like what specifically, because it might feel general, but what specifics are being are is she pointing to for me. So for instance, what I mean by that is, let's say the goddess is saying something about speaking your truth, right? That's kind of general in a sense, but the specific is, where is the divine feminine asking me to speak my truth? And then for you, that could be like, oh, in my relationship, oh, at work. So I really want you to take this in and then really apply what you're reading and seeing there, and ask. If you don't know, ask. That's another thing about working with the divine feminine archetypes, is you can ask divine mother, whoever your goddess is, show me. What do you mean by this? Where do I need to work on this in my life? Give me some specifics. You may not always hear things right in that moment. It may come later. I get a lot of stuff when I first wake up in the morning. So just trust that when you ask, it is given. Not always right then and there, but that answer will come to you. And you're not alone in this. Once you give the divine permission to come into your life to start helping you, like there's an invocation in the workbook to help you call her in, because they need permission to start guiding you. They can't just jump in and start telling you what to do and how to, your next steps. Need to give them permission. So all of that is there in the workbook. I just wanted to share my experience with you and tell you a little bit about it. So you're gonna grab that at selfworshipschool.com/quiz. Of course, I will have a link below. I would love to hear from you once you take the quiz and read through the workbook. Come back here, tell us your thoughts and what came up for you and who your goddess is, and like how it is so aligned. All right. Well, I will talk to you later and see you in the next video. Oh, and if you found this helpful, like this video and don't forget to subscribe. Talk to you later.